Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Homestand TV. I'm your host, Celine Trimarchi, alongside my co-host, Justin Pooni. Today, we're going to start on some sad news. Börje Salming, NHL defenseman, trailblazer, pioneer. He passed away at the age of 71 yesterday. Now, he was diagnosed with ALS last year, and this news, we all knew it was coming, but it's just so sudden now. Justin, they just did the ceremony.
Yeah.
And it's just, I'm at a loss for words.
Like I said before, we talked about it, I think a couple of weeks ago when the
Yeah.
ceremony first happened. I didn't really know much about Börje Salming. I knew he was like a Hall of Famer, but I understand like his nickname was the King of Toronto, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was expected that it was going to happen, but again, it still comes as a shock, and it's very sad news, especially for a Toronto Maple Leafs icon, right? I'm just glad that they got that tribute out and it was done before, that he could experience that one last hurrah in Toronto, and the fans could pay their respects one last time. And you're seeing flowers by his statue outside Scotiabank Arena and stuff like that. So definitely a tough day for Toronto Maple Leafs fans, but also I'm just glad the Maple Leafs were able and the fans were able to pay their respects one last time while he was still with us.
The fans that were able to attend that game,
both,
yeah, they're going to cherish that with all of their heart.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I went to the game on the Saturday with the Canucks, and I'm not a Leafs fan, right? But that's something I will remember because to see the sheer impact of a guy who hasn't played. I'm sure a lot of people in the building a lot of young people don't know who he is, right? But to see that was definitely probably a special moment that I know I will, definitely remember. And I'm not even from here, right? So it's definitely was a special moment for just the hockey world.
Of course. Well, our condolences go out to the whole Salming family. And now, keeping with Toronto, let's chat the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Leafs opened their 4-game road trip with a 2-1 win over New Jersey.
Right.
That game was very interesting.
3 disallowed goals.
A hat trick of disallowed
goals. And the fans were throwing garbage on the ice, which you should not do. Which
you shouldn't do.
I'm not saying you should throw garbage on the ice, but 3 disallowed goals, you get kind of frustrated because that broke their historic win streak in New Jersey.
I know, that's a crappy way to end that win streak.
I'd be pissed too.
Of course, but I mean, you shouldn't be throwing trash
especially
on the ice.
Beers. I don't know how much beers are in New Jersey, but I know in Toronto and other communities it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. I mean, maybe in the States it's a bit cheaper, but like you don't want to be throwing like a $24 beer on the ice. Like, no, thank you. But anyways, Toronto sits second in the Atlantic Division, third in the Eastern Conference, 6th overall. They're on a 7-1-4 run. Despite their injured-riddled roster, and it is injured, let me just say, we got Riley out now. Muzzin, he's been out. Brody, and now Jordy Ben with an upper body injury. Things aren't looking like great.
Yeah, no, they're looking a lot like the Toronto Raptors right now. A lot of injuries, but this is where your depth gets tested, right?
Yes.
And this is going to be interesting because at the quarter point, when they go after that slow start, people saying, oh, Sheldon Keefe might lose his job. It's time to fire the coach. But now they're second in the division, playing a lot better.
Yeah.
They had a great month in November. But I want to see how they play with these injuries on the back end. Because their back end was not deep to begin with, and now you lose that guy, Morgan Riley. I want to see how they play, how these depth guys play, and can they step up?
Well, I will say Matt Murray, he
stepped up in a big way, yeah.
Yeah, he showed up. I mean, 34 shots he stopped in New Jersey. I mean, that was quite impressive for this player that finally just made his way back.
And he's finally getting back into a rhythm, Matt Murray, in net, right? He's starting to, we talked about it before, how, okay, he's getting back from injury. Now, can he build on that sustained success and get more games? I think he's played 4 of the last 5 games or something along those lines. So he's getting a good run. Let's see, can he, because he's going to have to play big now. Now there's a lot of injuries on the defensive end, right?
Always going to have to play big time. And you know, another player that has to start playing big time, Auston Matthews. Buddy, okay, ranks, he's tied for 32nd in goals.
Yeah.
9 goals.
You know who's number 1 in the league with goals right now?
Yeah, I know it's Bo Horvath. Yeah. Shut up. Okay. Let's not talk about that. I was going to mention that. You got Horvath, McDavid, and Jason Robertson, all with 16 goals.
Yeah.
And you have Auston Matthews, supposed to be one of the star goal scorers.
The biggest goal scorer.
Yeah, with 9 goals.
Look, like I think with Matthews is he's not going to score 60 again.
He's not on track to
No,
score
he's
60
not,
at
but-
all. But we had him thinking he was going to score like 70, 80 goals.
Okay, I didn't have that. You Leaf fans
Well,
had him like
Leaf
that,
fans
right?
had that.
I think anybody's going to score 70 this year might be McDavid or Bo Horvat, one of the two.
If
Right?
Bo, we should put a bet on that.
No, he's not going to score 70. He's not going to score 70. But the thing with Matthews is that like, when you score 60 goals, when you win the Hart Trophy, you have that cachet now where every team's best defensive pair, their top shutdown center is going to have, their sole responsibility is to shut Auston Matthews down, and he's facing that now. So he's got to work through it, right? All the greats do it. McDavid, Crosby, Ovechkin, Stamkos, Gretzky, whoever. You have to learn how to play and still be productive, which he's being productive, right? He's not falling off a cliff, right?
No.
But he's got to find a way to continue to be Auston Matthews, even when he has all that extra added attention.
And, you know, I found this stat, and I was very intrigued by it. So it kind of put a bunch of players in their first 6 seasons in the league and how many games they've played and how many goals they've scored. Matthews is top on that list. He's played in 407 games, and he has 174 goals. The second player on that list when it comes to goals is McDavid, and it's 136 goals in 442 games played. So you would not expect this from Matthews at all.
It happens. But I think like Mitch Marner only having 4 goals on the season too is kind of concerning as well, right? So, like we said, with these injuries, even though they're on the back end, the guys up front, those big guys are going to have to carry a lot more of the load if this team wants to continue on the pace they're on or even just stay afloat.
Well, the Leafs are going to be back in action tonight in Minnesota as they take on the Wild, so that should be a fun game to watch. So now let's kind of shift gears and talk about another little inconsistent team, the Edmonton Oilers. They're 10-10 on the season, despite going 7-3 right out of the gate. Ranked 29th in goals against per game, 28th in shots allowed per game, and 29th in the penalty kill. So compared to last season to this season, it's quite a difference. I mean, this is a team that made it to the conference finals, and everyone was kind of jumping on that bandwagon.
I thought they were going to win the Stanley Cup.
We all thought that because, but all of a sudden,
I think that Evander Kane injury really is going to, like, that's the guy that they rely on to score a lot of goals. Now, look, McDavid and Draisaitl are going to put points like no tomorrow. But also the
They're the only ones that
but
are
also
putting
goaltending.
Yeah.
Who would expect Stuart Skinner to basically be the number 1 goalie for the Edmonton Oilers after you spend all that money on Jack Campbell, who has not looked like a number 1 goalie. And I don't know if it's something in the water in Edmonton or like just Edmonton, just a really cold and dark city that just goalies just don't want to play well there. But
nobody wants to play in Alberta.
Maybe. Hey, I'm not saying anything bad about Alberta. I've been there numerous times. It's cold. It's not my cup of tea. No. But goaltending, they ought to get shored up. That defense, again, Darnell Nurse, Tyson Barrie, those guys right there, like, it's not a Stanley Cup caliber defense core, right? And I think there has to be a move made in Edmonton. Ken Holland's got to pick up the phone, do something to kind of shake this roster up. Because what happened last year? They were doing really poorly. They fired Dave Tippett. They bring in Jay Woodcroft, and then they go on the run. And they go to the conference finals. Maybe it shouldn't be like this. I think when you have guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, you should have that inner motivation to just go. But maybe the group needs to get a little shake-up in it to start playing well again.
They need something else added to their water.
Maybe. Maybe some pre-workout or creatine like you. Yeah, creatine.
They need some creatine.
Yeah.
Oh, the people that are probably listening to this are like, what are you guys talking about?
It's an inside joke. It's an inside joke. Celine's a workout warrior, and she's a fitness motivation for all of us.
You know what? Creatine works, though.
It does. I'm on it now, too.
Yeah. Okay, so it works.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
It works. This has become, my producer in my ear is saying, has this become a health and fitness show? Yes, it has. We should actually start
Next week we're gonna teach you how to diet properly.
We'll teach you solid leg workouts as well. But anyways, let's shift right back to hockey. I mean, time will tell with the Edmonton Oilers, much like every other team out there, the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, yes, it's November, right? Yes, it's November.
Very good. You can read the calendar. It is still November, yeah.
I was kind of like, is it December already? I mean, it's still the beginning, so there's still so many more months we got ahead of us.
For all teams, Canucks, the Flames, the Leafs are in a good spot. The Jets are playing very well right now too, but it's still early. Things can change. Just pump the brakes a little bit and let's see how things ride out. But we're at the quarter mark of the season, so you get a good idea of where teams are at, and I think you're going to start to see moves and changes and stuff like that going forward.
And that's exactly what Barry Trotz said to me on the airplane.
Okay, we already said that story. We're not going to get down that story again.
Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining in on Homestand TV. I'm your host, Celine Trimarchi, alongside my co-host, Justin Pooni. We'll be back here next week to chat more hockey.